For the last 4 or 5 years, football fans and pundits have been trying to avoid discussions concerning Pat Mahomes' inevitable GOATship. You see, people say stuff like, he is on pace to join the league of great quarterbacks, or Mahomes will be remembered as one of the greatest of his time. But that's not going to cut it. Why? Because deep down, we know who is next in line to be the greatest of all time. The name is Patrick Mahomes. Of course, I'm not saying he is the number one. Now, because obviously Tom Brady is still alive. Well, and incredible. But we have seen him do miraculous things, much like we know the GOAT does time after time. And among those miraculous things is when a player completely owns his competition. So in today's video, we'll be checking out 8 times Patrick Mahomes owned his competition. However, before we go deep into the details on today's list, do not forget to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment Gifted Athlete to be entered in this month's $500 Amazon gift card giveaway. Good luck. Number 8, Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. Of course the NFL and all of us football lovers all crave the Patrick Mahomes against Lamar Jackson showdown. After all, competition is the name of the game. This was supposed to be the greatest rivalry among quarterbacks in recent memory. And it also has some similarities to the Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning matchup. However, the duel between the two quarterbacks isn't as exhilarating as the media or the people imagined. The problem was Mahomes was just too much for the Jackson and had won all 3 previous matches against the Ravens, man. And so far, every meeting seems to be more lopsided in favor of Mahomes. In the first matchup, the Kansas men had to fight through in a thrilling overtime game before securing the win. In their 2019 rematch, Mahomes had co-handed Lamar's Ravens one of the only 2 regular season losses they had that year. By the time the 2020 edition of the so-called quarterback rivalry occurred, Mahomes' chief, quite frankly, embarrassed the entire Ravens team on Monday Night Football. Number 7, Mahomes versus Broncos. Looking back at what this star quarterback did to the Broncos, you can tell he doesn't pull back punches. The Broncos were the unfortunate team to have happened to be playing against the Chiefs on Mahomes' first career start. Not to forget that the two teams also had a rivalry. Well, without being too blunt, I'll say the quarterback has pretty much wiped the floor with them, going 7-0 against the Denver side. Just think of that. 7 games against the Chiefs since Mahomes came into the league, and they couldn't even manage one single victory. Well, in those 7 match wins, the superstar recorded 3 receptions, 1,825 passing yards, and 10 TD passes. Number 6, Mahomes versus Deshaun Watson. Well, since Lamar Jackson wasn't up for the task, the powers that be invented another rivalry with Deshaun Watson pitted against our star quarterback. Just to give a quick summary, which is a way of saying this duel was way better than the last one. The overall scoreboard stands at 2-1 in favor of Patrick Mahomes. The first game was in 2019, and Mahomes' side got defeated 31-24 at home. Some blamed it on an ankle injury, but that is irrelevant. Well, Patrick got his chance at revenge in the divisional playoffs round last year. This match turned out to be one of the most unprecedented postseason collapses ever. Deshaun Watson's side was leading 24-0 in the second quarter, and as the Chiefs struggled to find their form, it seemed like Watson would run away with the win again. But this was not to be, as the Texans ruined a fake punt move, and that was all it took for Mahomes and co to get back in the game. The Chiefs ran away with a 51-31 victory, with Mahomes becoming the first footballer in the postseason ever to record a minimum of 300 yards passing, 50 rushing yards, capped off with 5 touchdowns. Number 5, Mahomes versus the Raiders. The Raiders happen to be another AFC West rival with a poor record against our star quarterback. The Las Vegas franchise had lost all 4 meetings against Mahomes' chief until last year when they pulled off an upset, winning 40-32. The Raiders almost repeated defeat in Week 11, but Mahomes wasn't happy. Once he connected with Travis Kelce and scored the touchdown, it was over, and they won 35-31. Also, That late move marked the first time he would throw a go-ahead TD in the last 2 minutes of a match. Number 4, Mahomes versus Jared Goff. The Rams and the Chiefs were two teams that played a new kind of high-octane offense, so the match was expected to be thrilling, and it was. The meeting resulted in a 54-51 scoreline with 14 TDs, 56 first downs, and 1,001 yards of combined offense. Never before had two teams in an NFL game recorded a minimum of 50 points each, but it was the Rams who came out on top. Well, although the Los Angeles side and Goff himself played well. Mahomes posted a career high of 478 yards and 6 TDs, so you might consider it a Pyrrhic victory on both sides. Number 3, Mahomes versus Tom Brady. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Could Mahomes ever completely outshine the GOAT? Well, while he can't do that completely, he did outshine him. Inasmuch it must be noted that the overall matchup between these two has ended in favor of Tom Brady. It has not been without its losses. Mahomes had faced Brady when he played for the Patriots, but his first meeting with the GOAT in a Buccaneers jersey came last season, and it was Mahomes' first game against the Buccaneers. This time, the Chiefs won in a close duel that ended 27-24, with Mahomes throwing for 462 yards plus 3 scores. As for Brady, he recorded 345 passing yards and 3 TDs. This was a big deal for Brady, if you know anything about how competitive he can be. And as much as Mahomes didn't embarrass him, he certainly felt embarrassed. I might also add that Brady got his revenge in a Super Bowl 56 match that ended in a 31-9 victory. However, it cannot undo the 2020 victory Mahomes had against the GOAT. Number 2, Mahomes versus the Saints. I had wanted to make this about the legendary Drew Brees and Patrick, but it felt wrong considering that Brees was obviously old and rusty in that game. The walking Hall of Famer, as they call him, missed 6 of his first passes, and it was not a pretty sight. Anyways, the Week 15 game ended in a 32-29 victory for the Kansas Chiefs, and Mahomes looked every bit the next big thing after Tom Brady in the league. Number 1, Mahomes versus the 49ers. This was so epic that it had to be number 1. And why not? After all, it is the most significant victory in the career of our star quarterback. It happened last year when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl 54 match against the 49ers, with Mahomes going 26 out of 42 for a whopping 286 passing yards. He should have stopped there, but he also recorded 3 TDs and 2 interceptions. Performance, he had to be named the Super Bowl MVP, even if he was only 24. And that's how we end today's list. So from these 8 performances against the best in the league, do you think he should be mentioned in the GOAT talk? Are there any other matches where Mahomes destroyed this competition? Let us know what you think down in the comments. Also, do not forget to leave a like on this video if you're a fan of Patrick Mahomes. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Until next time.